Inshallah, on the YouTube channel, we will have, it's already been posted. So inshallah, anybody that has questions, they could go, they could check it out. The slideshow, inshallah, Imam Habib, he has, and he can share it with you all, inshallah. So now we get to fasting. You can go to the second slide. What are we going to discuss today, inshallah? However much we get through, Allah knows. What is fasting and its types? Number 2, the invalidators of the fast. Number 3, FAQs. Number 4, masail and rulings specific to women. And number 5, exemptions from fasting. Okay, go to the next one. The legal definition of fasting, saum, is to abstain from eating, drinking, and intercourse during daylight hours. This means from the beginning of Fajr time, not from sunrise, but whatever the prayer timetable says for Salatul Fajr, from that time up until Maghrib. Which calculation should be used for Fajr? You have all these different ones on your prayer apps, all these different options. Just whatever the Masjid Khatija timetable says, just follow that. Easy. Fasting in Ramadan is obligatory on every adult, male or female, who is physically and mentally healthy and is not a traveler, and for women, not in a state of menstruation or nifas, post-natal bleeding. There's 7 types of fasts. There are fard fasts in Ramadan. Fard includes qada and kafara. Qada means when a person doesn't fast for a valid reason, or even an invalid reason, you have to make up the fast. Kafara is, there's certain types of fast that a person breaks without excuse. The penalty for it is very dire. And in order to atone for that, a person has to fast 60 straight days for violating the sanctity of the month of Ramadan. And this is fard to do. Then there are wajib fasts. Wajib is qada of nawafil fast and vows that we make. A person says, for example, I make an oath that I will fast 3 days. Now it becomes wajib to do so. A person says that if I do well on my test, I'll fast 3 days. It's wajib to keep that fast. Similarly, once a person begins an act of nafil actions in and of themselves, they're not fard, they're not wajib. But once you begin it, it's wajib to complete it. So if you invalidate it, it's wajib to make it up. So if a person is keeping a nafil fast and they break it, you can break it. There's valid reasons to break it. And for breaking a nafil fast, the threshold is very low actually. But you have to make it up because in essence, you're making, when starting an action, you're making an oath to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that I'll do this action. And you have to fulfill it. And in the Quran it says, وَلَا تُبْطِلُوا أَعْمَالَكُمْ. Don't invalidate your actions. Don't let them go to waste. So if you start something, you have to complete it. If not, you have to make it up. Then there's the Sunnah fast. The Sunnah fast is the day of Ashura, the 10th of Muharram, and a day before and a day after. There's recommended fasts. Some say they're Sunnah, some say they're Mustahab. They can go either way. 3 days every month, not just 13th, 14th, 15th. 13th, 14th, 15th, they have an extra fadila. But Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his habit was he would fast 3 days every month. Sometimes at the beginning of the month, sometimes at the end of the month, sometimes in the middle of the month. And he instructed Sahaba radiallahu ta'ala anhum to do the same. Mondays and Thursdays and 6 days of Shawwal. These are all recommended, or some say sunnah. Next is makruh tahrimi. It's makruh tahrimi, meaning near haram, to fast on the day of Eid or ayyamut tashriq, meaning 11th, 12th, and 13th of Dhul Hijjah. Makruh tanzihi is Friday, Saturday alone, Somi Wisal, and Somi Dahar. Somi Wisal means that a person fasts continuously without breaking their fast for several days on end. This is makruh. And Somi Dahar is to fast every single day. This is also makruh. Friday and Saturday alone, they're only makruh if the person thinks that they're getting some extra reward for fasting on these days due to some extra virtue. So, sometimes people say, oh, you're not allowed to just fast on Friday. That's not the case. That was early in Islam, yes. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam forbade the Sahaba from fasting on Friday out of the fear that they might make it a Sabbath like the Jews did for Saturday. But later on, if you look in the hadith in Muslim Sharif, Abdullah bin Mas'ud radiallahu anh said, most Fridays I saw Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam fasting. So if a person just coincidentally, okay, it's winter time, the days are short, I'm not hungry, or I just want to keep a nafil fast, I'm feeling energetic, I was up early, I ate breakfast before Fajr time started, let me keep a fast, you could keep it. There's no problem with that. Now we come to the intention. The following fasts do not require the intention to be specified, nor must it be made before Fajr. Rather, the fasts are valid as long as the intention is made before Dhahwa Kubra. And I know I'm going fast, if anybody, due to the time constraint, but if there's anybody has anything, please inshallah stop me and we could go over it. These are Ramadan fasts, Nazar Mu'ayyan fast. Nazar Mu'ayyan means that a person says, I swear that I will fast on the 15th of March. You've set that day, right? You've made a vow, but you've specified what day it is. And nafil fasts. For these fasts, you don't need to have the intention up until Dhahwa Kubra, meaning your fast is valid. And you could have a general intention that I'm just fasting. Why and what does this mean? What it means is that, let's take the example of Monday. On Monday, after Maghrib, a person can make an intention to fast for Tuesday. They can make it after Isha. They can make it after Fajr. Even if they haven't made it by Fajr, they have all the way till this time, Dhahwa Kubra. And I'll explain what that is, to make up this fast. If they don't make it up and Zuhr time begins, Dhahwa Kubra passes, it's too late, their fast is not going to count for the day. What is Dhahwa Kubra? Dhahwa Kubra is translated as the Islamic midday. What this is the halfway point between Salatul Fajr, beginning time, and Maghrib. So it's not Zawal, not Zuhr time. It's not the halfway point between sunrise and sunset. Rather, when Fajr time starts, so let's say Fajr is 6 a.m. for example. It begins at that time. And Isha, and Maghrib, it begins at 6 p.m. What would the halfway point over here be? 12 p.m., right? You would have up until 12 p.m. to make the intention to keep any of these three types of fast. A nafil fast, a Ramadan fast, or another mu'ayyan fast. Okay? After that, if you wait till Zuhr time, too late. Okay? This Dhahwa Kubra usually comes about an hour or so, maybe 45 minutes before Zuhr time. It's very easy to calculate. All you need to do is halfway point between Fajr time and Maghrib time. Now, when would this be relevant? Let's say, for example, you're not feeling well in Ramadan. But you said, let me give some time. Maybe I'll start to feel better. You have some time to decide whether you're going to fast or not. Same thing with nafil fasts, right? Sometimes you're like, oh, let me see how the day goes. Maybe I'll keep a fast. And it's like 11 o'clock and you're just fine. You're not hungry. You're energetic. Like Maghrib is at 4:30. No problem. I'll just keep the fast. You're allowed to do that. Why is this necessary? We'll understand this, inshallah, when we look at we'll understand this by saying all other fasts, you need to have an intention before Fajr time. The default for any day, right, is that it's a nafil fast, any day in the year. But there's certain days that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has specified for a purpose. Those are the days of Ramadan. So now they're no longer by default nafil fast. They're Ramadan fast because Allah has specified them. So no matter if a person in Ramadan, if you're traveling, do you have to fast? No. But if you say, I'm traveling, so I don't want to keep a Ramadan fast, but I have a qada fast from last year. Let me keep that qada fast. If you keep a qada fast, then it'll still count as this Ramadan's fast. Why? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has specified that day. That's why you don't need to have an intention early, nor do you need to have a specific intention. You say, I'm just fasting, and you know that it's Ramadan. Or if you specify the day, like you say, I'm going to fast on March 15th. When March 15th rolls around, right, because you made a vow you're going to fast on that day has been specified by you. So you have until midday to make your intention. Any other nafil fast, they're already, by default, days are nafil. They don't need to be specified. But for other types of fasts, like qada fasts, Nadar غير معين, meaning unspecified vows. I will fast 3 days. Make-up fasts. Kafara fasts. All of those, the reason that you need to make the intention before Fajr time is because those haven't been specified by anyone. Once Fajr time comes, automatically it goes to the default, which is a nafil fast. So you need to make the intention beforehand. One other thing is, intention is an act of the heart. Sometimes in Ramadan, like I'll get a call, 4:30 in the morning. Somebody say, I don't know what to do. I read online. Visit some of the other mazahib, you have to make the intention before Fajr. I didn't make my intention for fasting. So I said, okay, when did you stop your eating? I stopped eating at 4:17. Okay, why were you up eating before that? For suhoor. Why do you stop eating? Because that's Fajr time. So, well, you made the intention, right? The intention was in your heart that you're going to fast. That's why you stopped. It doesn't always have to be verbalized. If you verbalize it, great. But you don't have to. Now we move on to the things that invalidate the fast. The criteria for something to invalidate the fast, on the next slide the picture is bigger, so don't worry. Okay, there has to be 2 conditions. Number 1, the thing must have a strong possibility of reaching the stomach or the brain. Or number 2, it enters the body through the regular channels. In Arabic, this is called manafidul asliya. Right? There's regular portals in your body, orifices, you could say, in your body that lead directly to the stomach or to the brain. What are these? Mouth, nose, anus, because the nose and the throat, they're connected, right? And ears as well, but there's some detail to the ears. Okay, now if something enters through the mouth, for example, and it passes the oropharynx, it goes this far, and it passes, the fast will break. The fast will break. Okay, if something is just in your mouth, if you taste it, but it doesn't go down, it won't break the fast. If something goes and it passes this, then there's really no way to gag it back up. It is going to go down into the throat. The fast, it will be broken at this point. Okay? Now, one question that may come up, and people get very panicked, in Ramadan when they rinse their mouth, what happens is, they say, I have some wetness in my mouth, I think I swallowed some water. Okay? That's going to be natural. That won't break the fast. The fuqaha have written about this. Anytime a person rinses their mouth, there's going to be some wetness left over. It's going to become absorbed into the saliva, and when the saliva goes up and down in your mouth, it's not going to do anything to your fast. Okay? What will break your fast is if you're rinsing your mouth in wudu and you accidentally swallow, like for real, like you swallow like a gulp, then your fast is broken. You're not sinful, but the fast is broken. You have to make it up. Now there's 2 types of invalidators of the fast. Mufsidat is the word in Arabic. Number 1, they require qada only. There's makeup only. And number 2, they require qada and kafara. Kafara means expiation. Because the way that the fast was broken was so egregious that the result of it is to atone for that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has legislated that you have to fast 60 straight days. Additionally, there's 2 more categories that are commonly thought to invalidate the fast, but they actually don't. However, these are also subdivided into those that are not makruh and those that are makruh, disliked. Only qada is required. This is a general principle, and this will make a lot of things easier for you, inshallah. If a person eats or drinks accidentally while conscious that they were fasting, their fast will break and they will have to do qada only. Right? Like you accidentally swallow water or something like that. So these are things that will require qada. Eating or drinking because you thought that Maghrib entered, but in reality it didn't. You're traveling, for example, but you decided to fast and you didn't update your app and you look at it and you eat at the wrong time. Okay, your fast breaks. There's no sin. You have to make it up another day. Okay? Number 2. Eating or drinking because one doubted that Fajr entered, but in reality it did. You didn't think that Fajr time had started, but Fajr time has started. The one thing that I'll say, not to say anything about the masjid policy, but I noticed that you do Fajr at 18 degrees, which is fine. It's the safest thing for fasting. If a person eats 1 or 2 minutes after 18 degrees, it won't break your fast. Because in reality, Fajr time does not start at 18 degrees. It doesn't start at 15 degrees either. In North America, it starts somewhere in between. And I know people in California that have done sighting, ulama, they've done qasam. Anybody that's actually gone and looked for Fajr time to start, they do qasam that it doesn't start at 18 degrees. Why? Because they're like, it's pitch black. It's not, Subha Sadiq hasn't started at that time. Now, if you stop eating at that time, great. No issue there, right? Because you're just being on the safe side. If you eat 1 minute past there, it's not going to invalidate the fast. Okay, eating or drinking forgetfully, but then thinking that the fast is broken, leading to deliberately eating and drinking again. Forgetfully means you don't realize that you're fasting. You walk in the house, you smell, pakoras, and you smell something delicious being cooked, and instincts take over, and you just go and you put one in your mouth. You totally forgot that you're fasting. That didn't break your fast, okay? It didn't. But then you think your fast is broken, you're like, chalo, let me just eat some more now. Then your fast breaks. But only qada is required, not kafara. Another example, swallowing a pebble or other items not usually eaten. So if a person to eat something, consume something that's usually not consumed, it doesn't lead to kafara. Swallowing toothpaste or mouthwash. Again, if you swallow it, it will break the fast, but it won't lead to kafara. Deliberately swallowing vomit that is more than a mouthful. Do people think that vomiting breaks the fast? Vomiting doesn't break the fast. The only thing that breaks the fast is that if you gag, all the vomit comes up and then you swallow it. Thinking that my fast will be saved if I spit it out. It will break if I spit it out. That's what actually breaks your fast. But it doesn't, swallowing it won't cause kafara. Self-induced vomiting, like this, that will not lead to kafara, only qada. Accidentally swallowing water while rinsing the mouth. This will cause qada. But remember, traces of water that remain in the mouth, they're an exception. They're not going to affect the fast. So don't get wasawis over this. A lot of people, they have a lot of waswasa about it. Being forced to break one's fast. If you're forced, you just make up the fast later. Okay, what about the nose? Water used to clean the nose for wudu or ghusl, and it reaches the throat, this is going to break the fast. An example of this would be inhaling medicine into the nostrils, nasal sprays that people have to use. This will invalidate the fast. Inhaling or smoke intentionally on the condition that it's not to benefit or comfort the body. So meaning, if there's like a fire and you inhale the smoke, that will cause qada, not kafara. If a person smokes a cigarette, if a person vapes, nowadays everyone vapes, that will cause kafara because it causes comfort to the body. Okay, some other things. If a person needs to take a suppository during Ramadan, it'll break the fast. If somebody ejaculates for a reason not due to intercourse, due to kissing or touching or whatever, there's going to be qada, there'll be no kafara. Now we come to kafara. In kafara, the general principle is if a person intentionally breaks their fast without any valid reason in the sharia, by eating, drinking, or having intercourse, kafara will be due. Along with the kafara, 60 days straight of fasting, the fast that was broken needs to be made up as well. So if one eats or drinks something of nutritional value, by nutritional we don't mean healthy, we mean something that regular people eat. If they eat it intentionally, kafara is fard. If somebody has intercourse in either of the two passages intentionally during Ramadan, kafara is necessary. Kafara is fasting 60 consecutive days. If a fast is not kept consecutively, the person will have to start over because violating the sanctity of the month of Ramadan is no small matter. This is a fard. If a woman's menstruation starts during these days, due to which she's not able to fast, it won't be considered to be a discontinuity. She's fast like 20 days, then her cycle starts. That's fine. Those days are exempted. But she will resume from the number that she left off at when she began. And if she waits an extra day, then she'll have to start from zero. Okay? If genuinely unable, genuinely unable to keep the fast, 60 poor people must be fed 2 meals or be given the equivalent cash value. Or one person is fed 2 meals for 60 days. Okay? But genuinely unable means due to an illness where there's no hope left for recovery or very old age. I know somebody, they're young, like my age. They just got married. Inshallah, we should stop now for the janazah. Okay, we'll continue this later, inshallah. So we'll go for the janazah, inshallah. Okay, assalamu alaikum. Eye drops are okay, they don't affect the fast. And if a person needs to take this nasal spray, ask the doctor if it's possible if you take a Q-tip, dip it in the medicine, and just put it on the nasal tissue. That won't break the fast, and inshallah the goal will be achieved as well. Huh? Miswak won't break the fast. But don't swallow the bristles though.